Usually when we kick off one of these deep dives, I'm vibrating with caffeine and urgency. You know the drill.
Yeah, it's usually a sprint. We treat information like it's a relay race.
Exactly. We grab a topic, we dissect it, we look for the hack, the shortcut,
Yeah.
right? The thing that's going to make us smarter, faster by the time the commute is over.
Mm.
But today, the source material, it basically reached out of the document, grabbed me by the shoulders, and just told me to sit down.
It's a completely different frequency today.
It really is. So for everyone listening, I want to ask you to do something that might feel a little unnatural. I want you to unclench your jaw, maybe drop your shoulders. Because we are not sprinting today. We are looking at a stack of notes from The Discipline of Endurance.
And specifically a text titled, When Patience Became the Answer.
Right. And just to place this for everyone, this is a text that's rooted in the Devi Bhagavatam. It's dealing with this very specific cosmological moment of crisis.
But the psychology of it, the psychology is just startlingly relevant to anyone who's ever stared at a problem and just screamed, why isn't this fixed yet?
Which is all of us. I mean, look
Yeah.
at how we live. If I text you and those 3 little dots don't appear in 5 seconds, I assume you're either mad at me or you're dead.
Right. If I order something, I want it on my doorstep tomorrow. We are addicted to the immediate fix.
We are. We conflate speed with competency.
Exactly. If a solution is fast, we automatically think it's good. If a response is immediate, we think it's caring.
Yes. And that is where this text just completely pulls the rug out from under us. Because it introduces a scenario where everything is going wrong, and the good response, the so-called divine response, is to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Or at least it looks like nothing.
It presents a paradox, really. In a world that demands action, sometimes the actual solution arrives not as movement, but as endurance.
So let's get into the weeds here. The text opens with this scene. It says, after the silence came waiting. And then it drops 2 lines that, I mean, honestly, they stress me out just reading them.
Okay.
It says, the imbalance had not disappeared. The call had not weakened.
Let's just pause on that first one. The imbalance had not disappeared.
So the problem is still there. The house is still on fire.
Yeah.
The bank account is still empty.
The relationship is still on the rocks. Whatever that imbalance means to you, it's present, it's active.
And then the call had not weakened.
That's the distress signal. That's the plea for help. So you have a crisis, and you have a cry for help.
Right. In any Hollywood movie, what happens next?
Oh, the hero kicks down the door, the music swells,
It's
explosion.
Problem solved in a montage. Yeah.
But the text says something else. It says, yet the universe did not hurry.
Okay, can I play devil's advocate here for a second?
Please.
Because that makes me angry. If I'm the one calling for help and the universe decides not to hurry, that doesn't feel like wisdom to me. That feels like negligence.
It feels like the universe is just checking its nails while you're drowning.
Exactly.
And that is the natural human reaction. I mean, we are biologically wired to panic when we sense danger. We want the threat removed now.
Of course.
But this source is asking us to do something incredibly difficult. It's asking us to decouple care from speed.
Decouple care from speed. Unpack that. Because to me, if you care, you run.
Not always. Think about a surgeon. If a surgeon just rushes into the operating room all flustered, moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour because they care so much, are they going to do a good job?
No, they're going to nick an artery.
Right. In any complex system, and the universe or your life is a very complex system, speed often creates error. The text implies that this refusal to hurry isn't about ignoring the pain. It's a strategic pause. It's the universe assessing the board before making a move that can't be taken a dabble.
So it's the difference between a reflex and a response.
Precisely. And the text acknowledges how excruciating this is. It doesn't say the people waiting were happy about it.
No.
It implies this huge tension, but then it pivots to what it calls the quiet truth of the Devi Bhagavatam.
Yeah, this line really struck me. It says, not every turning point is dramatic.
And we are just addicted to drama, aren't we? We want the thunderclap. We want that aha moment where the clouds part.
Because drama feels like progress. If there's a big fight or a big announcement or some big change, we feel like, okay, things are finally moving.
But the text warns us against that. It says, those who waited began to understand that haste would only repeat disorder.
Haste would only repeat disorder. I highlighted that, but I want to dig into the mechanics of it. Why? Why does moving fast necessarily mean I'm just repeating the same mess?
Okay. Think about a bucket of water that you've just dropped a bunch of dirt into. The water is cloudy, it's chaotic, you can't see the bottom.
Okay. I'm with you.
If your reaction to that imbalance is to frantically stick your hands in the bucket and try to, I don't know, push the dirt down or scoop the clear water up, what happens?
I just turn the mud up more. The harder I try to fix the clarity, the muddier it gets.
That is haste repeating disorder. You are adding kinetic energy to a system that just needs to settle. The disorder isn't just the dirt, it's the agitation itself. If you act out of agitation, you become part of the problem.
So the source is saying that when we rush to fix a crisis, we're often just projecting our own anxiety onto the situation.
Yes.
We aren't actually solving the root cause. We're running around because it makes us feel like we're doing something.
We are rearranging the furniture on the Titanic because sitting still feels too scary. We patch a hole with duct tape because we don't have the patience to dry dock the ship and rebuild the hole.
And the text is saying, no, stop. If you rush this, you will find yourself back in this exact same spot 6 months from now.
Which brings us to the core concept of this whole deep dive. Because if we aren't rushing, we're waiting. And let's be honest, waiting has a bit of a branding problem.
It really does.
Yeah.
When I hear patience or waiting, I think of passivity. I think of, sitting in a dentist's waiting room reading a 3-year-old magazine. It feels like wasted time. It feels weak.
And that is exactly where this text challenges us the most. It reframes patience entirely. It says, patience was no longer passive. It became the discipline that held chaos at bay.
The discipline that held chaos at bay. That doesn't sound like reading a magazine.
No. Imagine a dam holding back a massive reservoir of water. Is that dam doing nothing?
No, it's under immense pressure. It's exerting force constantly.
Exactly. Or think about holding a plank position in the gym. To an observer, you're just hovering there. You aren't moving, but internally.
Oh, yeah?
Your core is firing, your muscles are trembling, you're sweating. It is a high-energy state of static endurance.
That's a really helpful visual. Because in this scenario, where the imbalance is still there, the urge to fix it is the gravity. The urge to scream, to send that angry email, to force a solution, that's the gravity pulling you down.
And patience is the muscle that holds you up. It is the active, strenuous refusal to give in to the impulse of chaos. The text calls this a discipline.
Right.
It's not a personality trait. You're not just born patient. You build the strength to endure.
There's a line here that speaks to that sense of agency. It says, in choosing to endure rather than demand.
Endure rather than demand. This is so crucial.
Talk to me about demanding, because when things go wrong, I become a demanding person. Fix this. Why is this happening?
Demanding is a reaction to powerlessness.
Right.
When we demand, we're essentially acting like children. We're screaming at the universe or our boss or our partner, saying, make my discomfort go away.
We're externalizing the solution. We want someone else to do the heavy lifting.
Right. But endurance is internal. It is a reclaiming of your sovereignty. It's saying, the storm is raging out there, but I am going to stand here. I'm not going to let the chaos outside dictate my internal state.
It's a choice.
A very hard choice.
It sounds exhausting, though. I have to be honest. Active patience sounds harder than just fixing the problem.
It is harder. That's why so few people do it. It is infinitely easier to scream and break something than it is to sit with the tension of something being broken and not fixing it yet.
So why do it? Why put ourselves through this plank position of the soul?
Well, the text says it's because this endurance prepared the ground for true restoration.
Prepared the ground. Okay, now we are moving from construction metaphors to, agricultural ones.
And this is where the payoff lives.
The text makes a really specific distinction here. It says the result was not merely intervention, but harmony born from restraint.
Harmony born from restraint. If listeners take one thing away from this deep dive, I think I want it to be that phrase.
Break that down for us. What is the real difference between intervention and harmony? Because I feel like I intervene in my life all the time.
Intervention is surgical. It is imposing your will upon a situation. It's taking a painkiller for a broken leg. You stop the pain, you intervene. But have you healed?
No,
Yeah.
I just masked the symptom.
Or maybe you put a cast on it. That's intervention too. But the cast doesn't heal the bone.
Right.
The body heals the bone. The cast is just restraint.
Whoa, okay.
Harmony implies an organic realignment. If you force a solution, if you intervene with haste, you might force the pieces together, but they won't fuse. You'll just have a cracked foundation. Harmony born from restraint suggests that because the universe held back, because it didn't force the pieces into place prematurely, the pieces were allowed to find their own natural alignment.
So restraint creates the space for the system to heal itself.
Exactly. Intervention is, I fixed it. Harmony is, it healed. And healing is always, always stronger than fixing.
But healing takes time.
And healing looks like doing nothing.
It's the difference between glue and growth.
That's a great way to put it. Glue is fast. Growth is slow. The source is asking, do you want a life held together by glue, or do you want a life that has grown into strength?
I think we all want the growth, but we all reach for the glue.
Every time. Because the glue is right there on the counter, and the growth takes a whole season.
The text summarizes this whole philosophy with 4 lessons at the end. And I think now that we've unpacked the muddy water and the plank, these lessons hit a little harder.
Yeah, let's run through them.
Okay, lesson 1. Patience can be an active force.
That's the plank. That's the muscle holding back the dam. It is work.
Lesson 2. Endurance prevents repeated imbalance.
That's the muddy water. If you stop churning, the dirt settles. If you stop reacting, you stop creating new problems for yourself.
Lesson 3. Not all change requires immediacy.
A reminder that the universe's clock is different from ours. Just because you can't see the movement doesn't mean the restoration isn't happening deep underground.
And lesson 4, the hardest one for me. Restraint prepares the way for harmony.
The hardest lesson for everyone, I think. Stepping back, keeping your hands off the problem is sometimes the only way to let the true solution emerge.
It's terrifying, though. I really don't want to gloss over that. This text describes a period of silence and waiting. It doesn't say, and then everyone chilled out and felt great.
No, not at all. It's a valley. It's a dark, quiet valley where you feel abandoned.
But there is a little breadcrumb of hope at the very end. The source includes a continuation line. It says, soon, patience gives way to a deeper realization.
And this is the context we need to survive the wait. This state of endurance, this act of holding, it isn't the destination.
It's a bridge.
It's a bridge. It's the toll booth.
Right. You pay the toll in patience. You pay it in endurance. And what you buy with that currency is a deeper realization.
You get to see the truth of the situation, which you would have missed if you had rushed in with your duct tape and your glue.
So the waiting serves a cognitive function. It clears the fog so you can actually see what you're dealing with.
Exactly. You can't get the realization while you're frantic. The silence is required for the message to be heard.
You know, when we started talking with this, I really felt that resistance. I wanted to speed it up. I wanted to get to the point. But talking through it, there's a weird sort of relief in this idea.
How so?
Well, it takes the pressure off. If I accept that I can't force the harvest, I can stop exhausting myself pulling on the stems of the plants, trying to make them grow.
You can just tend the soil and wait.
Yeah.
It's sanity. It is the restoration of sanity in a frantic world. It allows you to trust that the process is working, even when you can't see the results yet.
But it leaves us with a pretty heavy question to walk away with, doesn't it?
It does. If we really buy into this, if we accept that haste repeats disorder, then we have to look in the mirror.
We have to ask ourselves, what mess are we currently living in? What imbalance is plaguing our lives right now that is actually there because we keep keeping it there?
Right. What chaos are we recycling over and over simply because we refuse to endure the discomfort of waiting for the real cure?
Are we choosing the glue because we're too afraid of the time it takes to heal?
That's the question.
I think we're going to need a minute to sit with that one, maybe a few minutes.
Take your time.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll see you on the other side of the silence.